come away from that game almost a little bit disappointed that you actually haven't won it?
I think we certainly could have won it, so you could look at it that way. It depends on your perspective. I think we were certainly the better team in the first half overall, and I thought as the first half went on, we really grew in ascendancy and went into half-time in real dominance. But the second half, Man United had some good periods of control as well, and we had to defend on shape and show good discipline, although we still had a couple of big chances to win it. So, yeah, we certainly could have won it. I think when you concede an early goal to Man United with the motivation that they were playing with today, the game could also get away from you in another direction. So the main positive is it didn't, and we were, more than competitive through the game, and everyone represented themselves very well.
Andre Nal's made two brilliant saves, and even Ruben Amorim said without him, Manchester United couldn't watch any key moments of the game.
Yeah, I thought his save from Liam was incredible. Being told he saved, I thought it his head, to be honest. But if he saved that from that range, it's an incredible save. The save in the second half was probably a big one. I've not seen it back, but that was maybe the clearest chance in the second half. So that's a really good save, and he's a good goalkeeper. So yeah, I think we probably had the better chances in the game. But it was an even game in other parts, and it was a competitive game. So we certainly felt like we could have won it. But there's big positives in how we played.
What did you make of going up against Ruben? It felt like quite a tactical game, a lot of changes throughout the game.
Yeah, it was a good competitive game. It was a challenge for us going into it in terms of preparation, to be fair. And there's certain things that you could predict, but certain things not, especially after an international break, not being sure with injuries. So, yeah, that side of it made it a challenge. I think that was a challenge of the start of the game, to be honest, because you weren't sure going into the game what the position would be. Of course, you get the lineup, but you don't know, will Diallo play wing back? Will Garnacho play wing back? It wasn't easy to be certain. So there was probably a few times in the first 5-10 minutes where we were, not caught out, but where it was hard to be certain about the positioning of the opposition. And it took us a little while to get on top of that. But I thought after, probably the first 10 minutes of the first half, we done exactly that, and we started to get on top of it. And the intensity of our pressure and the speed of some of our combination players really took control of the game. So, yeah, it was a good challenge in terms of the quality of the opposition players. They made, changes in the second half, got good players coming on. They got, more control than what we would have liked really in the second half. But at the same time, we showed a good level of maturity and resilience in our defending in that phase. And, it made it a really well contested game.
In terms of the bigger picture, back in the drop zone after Wolves win yesterday, that's 7 results from your 12 Premier League games down here. And you feel like the team has been competitive pretty much throughout this season. Is today another show to everyone that you're here not to make up the numbers?
Yeah, I think we've shown that for the large majority of the season. But I think it's pretty clear that we're making progress. I think you can see it in individual players and their improvement in their performances. You can see players really settling into the team who've come here. You can see, we can't forget the journey for a Cameron Burgess or a Wes Burns today of where they've come to, and now they're, both competing really well in that game. So individuals are improving. I think as a team we're developing. I think we looked at, pre the Tottenham game, we made some comparisons internally with the Man City game before the game and posed that to the players to say that, we went to Man City's second game. We did some things well, but in the end we weren't able to manage the game against a top team, and it ran away from us. And we did that much better last weekend. And I think you can draw some comparisons today with the Liverpool game, to be fair. And we did that before the game and said, look, we got to show now 11 games since we played Liverpool, a lot of the same ingredients as we did against Liverpool: intensity over pressure, bravery on and off the ball. But we have to find a little bit more, both in terms of being clinical to go and score a goal, and also in our game management and maturity. And I think if you look at the second half today compared to the second half at Liverpool, when Liverpool got on the ascendancy in the last 30 minutes of that game, they ran away from us really and cut through us. Today, whenever the game got away from us a little bit in the second half, where we lost the domination that we had in the first half, I thought it was a really mature second half, because we stuck together, we defended on shape, everyone stuck to the jobs, didn't give away many big chances, and then you give yourself a chance to win the game. And even taking Liam's out of it, Connor, the good chance in a cutback at the end, that maybe you can then go and win the game. So even in a you know, a microcosm, I think you take those 2 games from the first 2 games, you know, Liverpool, Man City, and you take Tottenham and United today, and you can see some progress there. So, yeah, we feel it, but we have to keep it going. You know, it's the position that we're in when you draw a game. And if you continue with that next week, then you show momentum. But if you don't and you don't show it, then you lose momentum, you lose the game, and you've not won in 2 games. So that's the reality of where we're in. We feel like we're progressing, but we have to keep going.
Yeah, you've 10 points on Villa and United here, and as harsh as it sounds, is the next step this team. They've actually got to start winning games here. That's the kind of next step.
Yeah, we're going to have to win some home games for sure. So I think you've described it pretty well. I think a pretty good step is being hard to beat, being competitive, making this a really difficult place to come, imposing ourselves on the opposition. But we also need to win some home games over the course of the season, and that's what we're trying to do. But I think, look, we've had 4 draws here. I think we could have won all 4. Par score, we should have won one that for me isn't debatable in the Leicester game, and you take out the other 3 draws, par score is probably winning at least one if things fall your way. So yeah, we don't feel like we're far away, but it is another step. You know, being competitive, being hard to beat, not losing many games, that's a step. Winning your first game is a step, and then winning regularly, more regularly than what we are, is another step that we still have to try and make.